Hi everyone, Marcus Lopez here, and welcome to another episode of Black Sweater Talk. It's Friday, and here in Toronto, there's a little bit of snow on the ground, and this weekend we're expecting another snowstorm. Depending on where you are, could be anywhere from 15 to 20 centimeters. Here in Toronto, we're looking at about 10, but it's also going to get really cold here, minus 22, minus 26 with the wind chill. Tomorrow and into Sunday. So right after this, I need to get out for a run because I know I'm not gonna feel like running in the cold weather tomorrow. But I have a question for you. Is there one thing you could change today that would set you up for your best year ever? For me, I had to answer that question just over a year ago. It was January 1st. I had to fly to Vancouver, and when I woke up that morning, I had a little scratch in the back of my throat. And I didn't think too much of it, but just to be safe, I popped a little oil of oregano and went about the day. But by the time I landed in Vancouver, it was more than a cold. I had that full-on nasal congestion, the headache. I had the chills, especially when you can't get warm. And I spent my entire layover in bed, except for the 2 times that I had to run out and grab some food. And when I came back to Toronto the next day and I was walking through Pearson with a colleague of mine, I lost my voice. And that is a really unnerving thing for me when I lose my voice, because it's happened so infrequently in my life, which I'm just not used to it. But it had me asking the question, do I need to make a change? Because in the months leading up to that, I was in my doctor's office a lot because I kept getting sick and, get better, get sick, get better. And, it is kind of part and parcel with the job of being a flight attendant because you're cooped up with people in a plane. And you don't know whether they're sick, and they touch their hand, they're touching your hand, they're trying to hand you dirty Kleenexes that they've already blown into. But I was tired. I was tired of being sick, and I was tired of feeling tired, tired of not having energy, and I knew that I had to make a change. I'd already by that point been more or less caffeine free for almost 2 years. Unless I'm flying overseas. When I'm flying overseas, I should say, I do have a coffee or two just to get me through the long night. But I wanted to have more energy. I wanted to feel like my old self, where I could just kind of get up and go. I wanted to feel rested because for years, I was only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and I thought that was normal because I was quote unquote functioning. So what could I do to get back to my normal self? And I had this idea where I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to give up alcohol, because I knew how I felt. Even if I was just having 1 or 2 glasses of wine with dinner, I was starting to realize that the next day I felt a little sluggish. I didn't have that same level of energy. So I wanted to see what would happen if I stopped drinking. And not only did I stop drinking, I stopped eating foods that were prepared with alcohol. And that was a big challenge for me because I love French food. And I had just, I had been working on going through many of the recipes in Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cuisine, and there's a lot of alcohol involved. And so I had to learn to stop reaching for the bottle of wine as I'm making a sauce or sauteing onions, or when I wanted to make my tomato sauce with vodka. That was probably one of the biggest challenges. It wasn't not drinking, because by this point I'd already been reducing my alcohol consumption, and I wasn't even a big drinker to begin with. But as the time started to go by, 1 week of not drinking, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, I started to see my energy rise. I started to get better sleep. I still was only averaging, I would say, 5 to 6 hours a night by this point, but there was more deep sleep. There was more REM, hitting the REM state and actually dreaming. And, here I am, 366 days later, sober, having not had one drop of alcohol in the last year. And for me, it really has made a difference. In the last 2 to 3 months, I'm actually getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I have that energy that I want. I have that focus that had been missing. I also lost, I'm going to say in the first 3 to 4 months of not drinking, I lost 20 pounds. And it wasn't just the not drinking, I also increased my running distances. I've been paying much more attention to what I eat. If you see me in the grocery store, and I get really upset with my partner when he throws something in the cart, I'm like, have you seen how much sodium is in that package? Have you checked the sugar levels? Because I don't want that anymore. I'm focused on an active lifestyle, healthy living, and because I still do cook and can cook most of the things from scratch, I don't want the processed foods. I don't want anything that's been pre-packaged. So the change for me that has really set me up to live my best year ever has been to stop drinking. And it's kind of been like, I want to say like living in a state of grace, because I am able to honor who I am. And I am no longer concerned about who others wish me to be, how others believe I should be acting, or, and in this case, how I should be eating or drinking. I'm really focused on me. Because I know that for me, sober, I stand the greatest chance of living my best life. Sober, the world will see the truest expression of who I am. Sober, I'm headed for my best year ever. So again, my question to you, is there one thing that you could change today that would set you up to live your best year ever? Whatever it is, no matter how big, no matter how small, begin it now.